Hi everyone. Today we're putting together a DIY Maker Gadgets smart heater. So remember to print out the parts first. There's a large body which connects all the parts and which connects all the electronics, and then a faceplate which you see that we're already connecting the AC power onto. So the first thing to do, as you can see, is push the AC power receptacle onto the faceplate from the outside, and use two 8mm countersunk bolts to hold it together with nuts on the inside and then tighten. So these heaters are great, especially during the winter. Temperatures are getting cold and we need a pretty simple way of having heat keep your cabinet warm so that your prints are high quality. So after we put the receptacle on, the very next thing is to wire up the W209. So this is the thermostat. It's a controller that has a little relay on it and temperature settings, and this is what we use to toggle between having the heater on and off. So as you see, we put the DC lines all the way on the right two terminals. That's a black and a red line, and that's ground and 12 volts. So that'll supply DC power to turn the thermostat on. The very next thing here is to get the AC, so this is a thicker line, AC power supply line, into the thermostat on the very next screw terminal. That's K1. So that's third from the right. So this is actually the power supply that supplies the heater, because the heater requires 110 volts AC. So the right two wires turn the thermostat on, and K1 and K0 supply power to the heater. Once you have that connected, take your heater and trim down the red line just a tad so that no wire is exposed once you connect it to the thermostat. Push both lines through the printed body. So on the top left, you'll see in the printed body there's two little holes, and that's to push your two lines through for your heater. Once those are through, take that trimmed red line and push it into the last screw terminal, that's K0. Make sure you have no exposed wire, that's why you have to trim it down. Alright, we tighten that up and we have all four wires already connected. So the very next thing to do here is to get the controller onto the faceplate. So first thing here is put your three little plastic printed buttons onto the faceplate from the inside, and that's how you're able to press the buttons on the thermostat. Then put your long 25mm bolts from the outside of the plate in, and you can see that I use a little bit of masking tape to hold them on, because when you're trying to put the thermostat on, it kind of slips away sometimes, so masking tape's a quick, easy solution for that if you have that, or any sort of tape that you have that you can take off easily. So these are the four bolts that hold the thermostat onto the faceplate. So on your faceplate you have both the thermostat and the AC supply line, or the AC power receptacle, and that's plugs into the wall, 110 AC. Once your bolts are on, put your standoffs. You have little plastic standoffs. Push those onto there, and that pushes the thermostat just far enough away so that it fits. And hand tighten all of the M3 nuts. Once you get them all hand tightened, you'll see that you could just turn the unit around and tighten them with a screwdriver. Or if you have a nut driver that's deep enough for that, you can use that too. Then remove the tape that was holding everything in place while you were installing it. And tighten each bolt. Now your faceplate is done. Press those buttons, make sure that they're moving. You should be able to hear them click. The very next part here is to get the AC to DC power module. So this is a power module that takes 110 volts AC and steps it down to 12 volts DC. So the 12 volts are what supplies the thermostat, and we need the DC for that. And the 110 volts comes from the main supply line, from the wall socket. Screw those down. You can either screw it with one screw or two screws. Yeah, either way, as long as it's held down. Once that's held down, you'll have still two exposed black lines. Those are AC lines. So one is the supply line that's coming out of the power receptacle, and don't trim that one down because you want it to be long. And the other one is the black line that comes from the heater. So you're just connecting those two using that wire splitter. So you just connected one to begin with, because once you start putting the body on and making sure that the lines all fall in the right place, you want that to be loose before. So first get all your red lines to go through the little grooves provided by the split between the AC and the DC unit. And once you have that all settled, then you can connect the black lines by just pressing down on those levers. Now we're putting the faceplate on, and we're using 8mm flat bolts. Just tightening them down. Okay, now that we have all the bolts in place, connect your AC line to the front of it. And this will be mounted on the inside of your enclosure. Power it on. And there's your unit powered on. By default, it's usually at 50 Celsius. By clicking that first left button, just click it once and it'll show you that it's 50 Celsius, probably by default. So just hold down the rightmost button and get it down to the temperature you want. I like printing it around 28 to 30. So you turn that to 28. Also, by default, the thermostat is usually on cooling mode, so you want to change that. So hold the left button until it says P0, then click the left button again on P0 and change it to heat, H, instead of cool, C. Then just wait for a second and it'll go back to its temperature. And you'll see that since it's cool in the room, the heater automatically turns on. The room is not 28 degrees. So over here, the thermostat will show you that the room's about 75 to 78 degrees, and the heater itself is well above 100 degrees. But the thermostat right there, the temperature gauge right there, is what really tells us what the thermostat's going to do. So we put it in front of the heater to heat the thermostat up, and once that's heated, you can see that the heater actually shut down because it reached its 28 degrees already. It's up to almost 30.